I've lost it, and you should too. The Switch 2 has been out for a month and a half now. That's just long enough for the honeymoon period to end, the hype to wear off, and the rose tinted glasses to slide off my greasy gamer face. And what's left staring me down is one of the most disappointing pieces of hardware I've ever paid way too much money for. And I know. I can already hear your comments. You know what? Philly, you're just a hater. Philly. I assume you'll be laughing as you type as well. Philly, you're too negative. Philly, if you don't like it, I can hear the comments coming right now. First of all, shut up. Second of all, I did buy it. Day one. Lined up outside the store like the clown I am. The pay pig I am. I handed over $700 full dollars for the privilege of being lied to. So yeah, I'm going to talk about it. For 2 hours, nonstop, strap in. Yeah, because I know, I don't have ads on this. So. Now, before we go further, let me make something crystal clear. I'm not some anti-Nintendo troll. I'm not the guy in your comment section screaming about how actually Sonic is better. I'm not the dude who's been waiting since 1995 for Crash Bandicoot to finally kill Mario. I am a fan. I always have been. My childhood, all Nintendo. All of my birthday parties were Nintendo themed. My first real memory of joy, Mario 64. My first real memory of rage, F-Zero GX. My first real memory of losing friends, Mario Party. Nintendo made me who I am today, a slightly unhinged adult with permanent thumb calluses and a YouTube channel. Yeah. But that's exactly why this hurts. Because when you grow up loving a company, you also grow up expecting more from them. You expect growth. You know, I grew up alongside Nintendo. But you expect them to treat you with the same respect and passion you've given them your whole life. Instead, what did they give us? They gave us the Switch 2, which, spoiler alert, is basically the Switch 1. But it's worse, more expensive, and somehow hotter than the surface of the sun. And listen, I get it. Nintendo has always done their own thing. We like to play Blue Ocean. They've never cared about horsepower or horse racing. They've always learned on creativity, charm, and Polish. That's why people defend them so fiercely. That's why you've got Polish folks in forums writing 2,000-word essays about how frame rate dips are actually part of the artistic vision. And don't get me wrong, I was one of those people. I was on the front lines defending the Wii U. I give that a yeah. You know how hard it is to defend the Wii U? Not really. It's kind of easy. I like it. But the Switch 2, I can't do it anymore. Not this time. This time Nintendo crossed the line. This time the track is too obvious. The hype cycle is too dishonest. The fan service is too shallow. And the price tag is absolutely criminal. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend 2 hours of my day dismantling every aspect of this console. The hardware, the launch lineup, the so-called exclusive, the gimmicky trash like Dragon Drive, oh my god, the embarrassing multiplayer situation with Mario Kart World, and finally the deeper issue, the Nintendo quote-unquote formula itself. How every big release since Breath of the Wild has been a safe, shallow collectathon dressed up as innovation. I might exaggerate, it's on some things. But, so, grab a snack and grab your Joy-Cons and try not to drift into traffic. If you're listening to this while driving, pull over. This is the police. Alright, so, let's talk about the hardware, because this is where Nintendo fans always try to pull that classic defense. Nintendo doesn't care about power, they care about fun. Yeah, well, I don't care about fun. The Switch 2's hardware is an absolute clown show. It's like they looked at everything with clowns and wrong with the original Switch and said, yeah, let's keep that. People seem to like clowns and suffering. Let's start with the biggest meme of them all, Joy-Con Drift. It's still here. Still here! After lawsuits, after recalls, after literal congressional hearings in Europe about whether Nintendo was selling defective controllers, Joy-Con Drift is still alive and still well. It's like the cockroach of gaming issues. I bought my Switch 2 day one, By day 3, my character in Tears of the Kingdom, whatever his name is, was walking in circles like he was lost in the world's saddest parade. I wasn't touching my stick. I wasn't even in my room. So how did I notice this? The Joy-Con just decided, hey, we're going north now, forever. And Nintendo's response? That's normal wear and tear. Normal wear and tear? Bro, the console is 72 hours old. If your car engine exploded after 3 days, would Ford tell you that's normal wear and... Bad example. They would. Fanboys will say, oh, you must have treated it Rouge. Huh? No, I put it in a padded case like it was an organ donation. I've handled Fabergé Edge with less care. Yeah, I'm uber rich, by the way. At this point, Nintendo should just rebrand Drift as a feature. Call it Dynamic Movement Mode. Charge an extra $20. People would buy it, like Wii Motion Plus. You know, did that even happen with the Wii remotes? We're evolving backwards here, you know? Next, the screen. Yeah, it's OLED. Yeah, it's bigger. Yeah, it's brighter. But here's the problem. A nice screen doesn't even matter when what's being displayed on it looks like hot garbage. Playing Red Dead 2 on the Nintendo Red Switch 2 is like watching a masterpiece painting through a dirty fish tank. The OLED screen just makes it look like a brighter, dirtier fish tank. Frame drops happen constantly. Resolution tanks the moment anything good happens. I tried playing Mario Odyssey 2. I tried to play Mario Odyssey 2 on it, and it ran so choppy I thought my console was buffering. YouTube videos load smoother than this thing runs games. It's like slapping a diamond-encrusted case on a Nokia brick and calling it a smartphone. Cool? It looks shiny, but it's still useless. And then, of course, there's the dock. I don't know how Nintendo manages this, but once again, the dock scratches your screen. How? How? It's literally a plastic box with a hole in it. That's all it is, a hole. And somehow, the hole is hostile. I docked with my Switch 2 once, pulled it back out, and it looked like Freddy Krueger had signed it. That's pretty good. At this point, Nintendo should just ship sandpaper with every unit. Hey, here's your dock. Here's your scratches. Please understand. And don't get me started on the dock redesign. It's bigger, uglier, bulkier, and it still does nothing except scratch your screen and overheat your system. At least the old dock was compact. This one looks like a toaster with a thyroid problem. Nintendo bragged about 20% better battery. They did. Which sounds impressive, until you realize that means 2 hours instead of 1 hour and 40 minutes. Big whoop. Yeah, really. That doesn't even sound... I tried taking my Switch 2 on a plane, and they held me up at TSA. They said, hey, can we play it? So I booted up Monster Hunter, and halfway through the first fight, boom, dead. They shot me in the face. Screen fades, fan wheezes, console gasps, its last breath. The flight attendant came by and asked if I was okay, because I was holding a lifeless console like it was a dead pet, and I was screaming. And I said, because I thought, never mind. And get this, the charging cable is shorter now. Why? Why would you make it shorter? Do you want us to sit on the floor next to an outlet like some gremlins? Now, this thing runs harder than a PS3 trying to play The Last of Us, or my PC trying to play a PS3. I left mine charging overnight and woke up to find it had melted a ring into my IKEA shelf. My Switch 2 literally branded my furniture. And the fan sounds like a jet engine. I booted up Skyrim 2 and thought my house was about to take off. My cat hides under the couch every time I turn it on. My cat hides under the couch every time I come home. But my neighbor also texted me and asked if I was buying a leaf blower. Wait, no, if I already did. He was trying to sell me one, but I told him no, I got this thing that sounds like one. So at one point, the fan got so loud I couldn't even hear the cutscenes in Horizon Zero Dawn. Is that on? Oh my... And I had to put on subtitles too, because my console drowned out its own audio. Incredible design, Nintendo. That's just top notch. The whole thing feels cheap. It's flimsy crap plastic. Hollow shell. It creaks when you pick it up. I've seen Happy Meal toys with more integrity. For $700, I expect a console that feels premium, sleek, solid. This feels like a prototype they found in a dumpster behind the Wii U factory. The kickstand? Oh boy, the kickstand. Remember Remember when they fixed the kickstand on the OLED model? Guess what? It's bad again. Flimsy, fragile, ready to snap off if you breathe too hard. At this point, I'm convinced Nintendo has a vendetta against people who want to play tabletop mode. And I might get into that later. And we can't ignore the price. $699 USD. $700. For the same money, you could buy a PlayStation and an Xbox. 5 and S, respectively, of course. A Steam Dunk. A Dunkerchino. A decent gaming PC, I guess. Or hell, 700 McChickens, and they would actually last longer. And they could probably run better games. Nintendo has the audacity to charge premium prices for budget tier hardware, the Steam Dunk. And people, myself included, still bought it. We lined up like idiots. We handed over our wallets like it was a stick up. And now we're stuck defending a console that can't even run GTA 5? I mean, are they going to do that, you think? Comment down below if you want GTA 5 on the Switch too. It'll release day and date with GTA 6, imagine. So yeah, that's the Switch 2 hardware. Joy-Con drift, an overpriced OLED potato, a dock that scratches your soul, a battery that dies faster than my New Year's resolutions. That's not very topical. A fan that doubles as a leaf blower, and a $700 price tag that feels like a war crime. War. This isn't innovation. This isn't charm. This isn't Nintendo doing their own thing. It's laziness. It's disrespect. It's Nintendo realizing they can sell us anything, slap Mario's face on it, and we'll buy it anyway. And yeah, I'm part of the problem. But that doesn't mean I can't complain. Okay, so the hardware is a dumpster fire. But the games, maybe, they're good, right? After all, Nintendo's whole identity has always been about their games. They don't compete on power, they compete on software. That's what the fanboys tell me in the comment section. Every time I dare criticize Nintendo. Or they tell me I worked for Nintendo. But here's the truth. The Switch 2's library is the saddest, most insulting pile of reheated tacos I ever seen in my life. It's like Nintendo raided the bargain bin at GameStop, threw everything onto a cartridge, and then slapped a $70 price tag on it. I guess. It's like they went to the Switch 1 eShop and ported everything over, really. Okay, but when you buy a new console, day one is supposed to feel special. The PS4 had Killzone, Knack, and early glimpses of greatness like Infamous. The Xbox One, it had the Kinect Pets game. That was cool. Yeah, it was. The PS5 had Demon Souls. Yeah. I'm the biggest From Software fan. Didn't play that one. Miles Morales, Astro's Playroom. Generational titles. 2K19, I'm pretty sure was on it. Even the Wii U. Yeah, the Wii U. It had a proper Mario. It had a proper Mario game. A new Nintendo Land. Yeah, I'm waiting on a new Nintendo Land. Actual exclusive. The Switch 2, day one, you got a stack of decade-old ports. Red Dead Redemption 2, a game from 2018. It ran beautifully on PS4. On Switch 2, Arthur Morgan looks like a wax figure melting under a heat lamp. The frame rate dips so hard when you get into a gunfight that it feels like you're playing a turn-based strategy game. I tried lassoing a guy, but the lad was so bad he teleported behind me and knocked me out. That would be awesome. That's a feature. Come on. Horizon Zero Dawn. It's a gorgeous open-world masterpiece on PlayStation. On the Switch 2? Is it on Switch 2? It's a slideshow. I swear, Alloy turned into a stop-motion Gumby figure, right? Ooh, Gumby. The grass textures looked like a carpet, and the machines rendered in... There's machines in this game? At 5 frames per second. Oh, crud. At one point, I thought the game had frozen, but no. That was just the natural speed of combat. The Last of Us Remastered. No way. That's on Switch 2? This is where I lost it. I mean, I'm losing it. The game that won awards a decade ago is now running worse than it did on the PS3. I was sneaking through a building and Joe literally phased through a wall. Tess disappeared. Clickers didn't make a sound, and I was watching... It was like watching a student film remake of The Last of Us. There's some really good student films out there. I'm just saying. Some really good actors in them, too. Skyrim, again, of course, because Todd Howard has a mortgage to pay, and yeah, and Nintendo has an audience willing to buy Skyrim for the 15th time. And here's the kicker. It runs worse than the Switch 1 port. Really? That's right. A 14-year-old game runs worse on newer hardware. It's like buying the PS5 Pro and trying to play Metal Gear Delta. How about it? GTA 5. On PS3 in 2013, amazing. On Switch 2 in 2025, it looks like GTA Chinatown Wars, but with less charm. The textures pop in 2 minutes after you load in. I stole a car, drove down the street, and the road literally disappeared. My car fell through the map. That's not immersion, that's punishment. But maybe the launch was rough. Maybe the future lineup is where the Switch 2 shines, right? Wrong, again. Nintendo Directs are supposed to be hype events, but every Switch 2... Oh my gosh. Every Switch 2 Direct so far has been the equivalent of reheating week-old pizza and calling it gourmet. No, it's even worse. Like, who cares? You know, who cares? If they have, like, a Mario Direct, sure, but who cares anymore? They trot out Skyrim again, GTA, a remaster of The Last of Us Remastered. At this point, I expect the next Directs to announce Pong Deluxe Edition, $60 at 1440p. And what about first-party games? You'd think those would be worth the price, but no, it's just the same safe formula. Another Mario, another Zelda, another Donkey Kong Collectathon. Cute, sure, fun, yeah. Worth $700? Hell no. I have to whisper when I curse because it's inappropriate. Nintendo loves to pretend they're innovating. We're not about specs, we're about creativity. Okay, so where's the creativity? Because from where I'm sitting, and it's very far away, trust me, the Switch 2 library looks like a greatest hits collection with none of the hits. So every so-called innovation is a gimmick. Dragon Drive? It's already abandoned. Mario Kart World? It's a mess, but we'll get to that. The only innovation I've seen is how Nintendo finds new ways to resell me the same games at higher prices. It's like they're playing a challenge mode. How many times can we make this guy buy Skyrim before he breaks? Spoiler alert, it worked. I bought Skyrim again. And I'll buy it every time. Yeah. Do you think they'll keep re-releasing it after Elder Scrolls 6? Do you think that they're ever going to release that, by the way? Let's put this in perspective. Look at what the competition is doing. Sony, they launched the PS5 with Demon's Souls, Ratchet and Clank. Wow. Yeah, exciting. Meanwhile, Nintendo's big flex is running Skyrim at 25 FPS instead of 20? Microsoft. Say what you will about Microsoft. They suck. I will say that. PC. PC is just better than everything, I think. But it's a little more expensive. But it's cooler, I guess. You can't play Mario Kart World on a PC. So, you have to buy a Switch 2, honestly. You can click off now. Buy a Switch 2. Thank you. Even mobile gaming. Yeah, I said it, mobile. My iPhone, I do not play Genshin Impact. Nope. Here's the dirtiest trick of them all. Nintendo banking on the illusion of exclusivity. They tease ports of phones are better, I guess. They tease ports of PlayStation games and Xbox games like it's some kind of games miracle. Now you can play Horizon Zero Dawn on the go. Yeah, at 10 FPS. Like, really, guys? Why? Why would I want to do that? You know what else lets me... I mean, I guess kids can get into it. Yeah, but what kid doesn't have a PS5? You know? What kid wants to play Donkey Kong? They want to play Fortnite. Anyway. A Steam Deck is an iPad with a controller. Hell, a laptop is better than the Switch 2. And everything is better than the Switch 2. And Nintendo knows this. That's why their marketing leans so heavily on nostalgia. They dangle Mario, Metroid, and Donkey Kong in front of us like a baby. And we clap, we drool, we buy it. Even though we know deep down, it's all a scam. So, Horizon Zero Dawn should not be on the Switch 2. It's insulting. Red Dead 2 should not be on the Switch Red Dead 2. It's unplayable. Skyrim should have been left in 2011. The Last of Us sucks, and watching it glitch on this console is like watching someone draw a mustache on the mustache Lisa. And yeah, Suicide Squad is a better live service game than anything Nintendo has ever done. Oh my god. Oh my god. So what does the Switch 2 really offer? Ports of decade-old games that run worse than originals. First-party titles that recycle the same formulas. Gimmons masquerading as innovation. Empty promises of future greatness. Nintendo's entire launch library is a bait and switch. Oh, I get it. Pun fully intended. They dangle the idea of playing beloved games on the go. But in practice, it's like watching premium prices to pay to watch your favorite VHS tape. The Switch 2 library isn't just disappointing, it's insulting to me. It's a proof that Nintendo thinks we'll buy anything as long as Yoshi's face is on the box. And you know what? They're right, because you buy it. I mean, you bought it. I bought it. You did too. So, you know what? Let's deflect. Let's shift gears, pun intended, and talk about Dragon Drive. The game Nintendo wanted us to believe was going to be a fresh, bold entry in their racing catalog. This game was supposed to prove that Switch 2 had its own identity. But what did we actually get? The laziest, most uninspired kart racer I've played in years. Here's the thing. Dragon Drive isn't bad in a funny way. It's not Sonic R bad, or at least it has a great soundtrack. Oh my gosh. It's bad in a boring way. Lifeless. It's empty. It's the video game equivalent of a piece of plain white toast. Dry, tasteless, and forgettable. Yeah, the avatars, it's like Daft Punk in wheelchairs. They should sue. They should sue Nintendo. You boot up Dragon Drive, and within 10 minutes, you've seen everything it has to offer. The tracks, bland. Copy-pasted roads with no creativity. Feels like someone used random terrain generator in Unity, slapped down a couple of ramps, and called it a day. The mechanics, half-baked. The drifting feel... half-baked. The drifting feels floaty. The boosts feel weak. The handling is inconsistent. And it's like the devs couldn't decide if they wanted to make Mario Kart or Gran Turismo, so they just split the difference and landed in shovelware mobile game territory. And the content, non-existent. You get a handful of cars, a handful of tracks, and that's it. That's what Dragon Drive is all about. It's a racing game. Fortnite. For context, let's compare this game to the competition. Fortnite, a game that gets updated every day. New modes, new crossovers, new cosmetics. One week you're fighting Darth Vader, then you're singing Doja Cat with James Hetfield. You're building Legos, and then you're at a Travis Scott's. I'm falling apart here. Call of Duty is better. Rocket League is better. Even mobile games are better. Asphalt 9, Mario Kart Tour. Speaking of Mario Kart. Even random gacha games, which I do not engage with. I don't play those. They're better than Dragon Drive. When a free-to-play iPhone game makes your $70 Switch 2 exclusive looks lazy, that's a disaster. And the worst part, Nintendo hyped this thing up like it was going to be the future. They showed flashy trailers, cinematic camera sweeps, characters cheering. People got excited. Fans lined up. And then the game dropped. And everyone collectively realized, we've been scammed again. This is not innovation. This is not creativity. This is filler. Oh, this is filler, alright. Dragon Drive is a launch filler title, designed to pad out the Switch 2's library and keep fans busy while they wait for Mario Kart World, whenever that's going to come out. And it's embarrassing that Nintendo thought this was acceptable. I'm taking a stand here. Suicide Squad is better than Dragon Drive. At least Suicide Squad gets updates. At least it tries. Dragon Drive doesn't try. It exists. Barely. And the fact that I'm even comparing those two titles should tell you everything about where Nintendo is right now. Dragon Drive is proof. I'm really harping on about this, ain't I? Alright, let's move on to Mario Kart World. It's the one that was supposed to be the big showstopper for the Switch 2, the one that was supposed to finally take Mario Kart into the modern era, to prove Nintendo could do online right, and give us the definitive multiplayer racer. It's trash. First, let's talk about the online. Because if there was ever a series where online functionality mattered, it's Smash Bros. But it's also Mario Kart. The whole point is competing against friends, flexing your skills, throwing shells across the whole world, and making enemies out of your college roommates. Online is the lifeblood of a game like this. But Mario Kart World's online is somehow worse than it was on the Wii. Yeah, the Wii. A console from 206. Back then, you at least had a chance of finishing a race without everyone teleporting around like Nightcrawler. On Switch 2, lag is so bad that you don't race against people. You race against ghosts of where they used to be 10 seconds ago. I threw a red shell the other night. It missed its target. It looped around and hit me. How does that even happen? How is the netcode so bad that my attack boomerangs back like it's coded by Wile E. Coyote? Cody. Wile E. Coyote? Huh. What's his middle name? Esther? Ernest. Nintendo still hasn't figured out servers. Still, in 225. The other company has figured this out. Sony has servers, Microsoft has servers, even mobile game has servers. Nintendo, they've got a hamster and a wheel, and I think the hamster walked out. The big new feature of Mario Kart World was supposed to be its open world. They hyped it up like you'd be exploring massive environments, discovering big secrets, taking the racing experience to a whole new level. But what did we actually get? Empty fields, empty roads, empty nothing. The world in Mario Kart World is less alive than a tutorial map in Forza. There's no incentive to explore, no rewards, no creativity. It's just a bunch of flat space connecting tracks that are already bland. I tried exploring once, drove off the beaten path. What did I find? Invisible walls, dead zones, a whole lot of wasted potential. It's like they thought the idea of an open world was enough. No need to actually design one. And then there's the progression system. Or should I say the complete lack of one. That's why I stopped in the middle. You win races, you earn coins. That's it. Coins. Nothing cool. Nothing good. No skins. Meanwhile, Fortnite has hundreds of raisins, seasonal rewards involving battle passes. Warzone has weapons. Rocket League has cars from Batman. Mario Kart World has coins. I have so many coins I could start my own Mushroom Kingdom central bank, and still, I can't buy a reason to care. You'd think at least the treats would save it. After all, Mario Kart has always thrived on creative, fun, chaotic track design. Rainbow World, Wario's Gold Mine, Coconut Mall, iconic. Mario Kart World, bland, forgettable, recycled. It's like they hired the same people who designed the empty overworld in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Has anyone played that? Comment down below if you played Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Half the tracks feel like reed skins of old ones, but worse. The other half feel like they were generated by AI. Wow. And none of them feel inspired. There's no personality, no spark. That's friendly fire. And this is where the pain really sets in. Because while Nintendo's out here selling us empty maps and coin grinding, the competition is light years ahead. Fortnite has new seasons, new events, constant surprises. Warzone has rotating maps, weapons, and evolving meals. Forza Horizon has a real open world, alive, vibrant, and filled with activities. Rocket League has cars from Batman. Mario Kart World feels like a relic released in 2025, somehow behind the curve of games from 2015, like Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. And yet, people defend it. It's Mario Kart. It's supposed to be simple. Sure, but simple doesn't mean lazy. Nostalgia doesn't mean innovation. Just because you slap Luigi on the face doesn't mean I'll ignore the fact that your game has less content than a free-to-play mobile racer. Nintendo is banking on They're banking on the freaking ECM jammer from Payday 2. I should edit this, shouldn't I? But they always are, and it works, because people like me, idiots like me who don't edit their sound, they still bought it, and they still gave it a chance, and they still got disappointed. Now, Mario Kart World is actually the worst Mario Kart ever made. It's worse than Super Circuit, worse than Mario Kart Tour. At least Tour was free. This is $70 for the privilege of being bored. And you know what? Crash Team Nitro-fueled racing wipes the floor with Mario Kart World. There, I said it. Even Sonic Team Racing is better. Go cry about it. What's with all the character team, Popeye team. Mario Kart World was supposed to be the killer app, the Switch 2's golden ticket. Instead, it's proof that Nintendo has no idea how to make a game. The online is garbage. The open world is empty. The progression is meaningless. The tracks are bland. And the nostalgia defense, it really doesn't hold up anymore. It's just a disappointment now. It's a betrayal. A betrayal of what Mario Kart used to be. And if this is the direction of Nintendo, it sucks if this is their direction. Okay, so I've ripped apart the hardware. I've ripped apart the library. I mocked Drag and Drive. I obliterated Mario Kart World. I shot Peach. But now we need to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. The problem that underpins all of this. Nintendo's formula. And let me tell you, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Because every single first-party Nintendo game, except for Pokemon, I guess. I don't know. Actually, maybe that was the original collectathon. You know what I mean? Because what do you do in that one? Gotta, finish the lyric. Gotta, you know what I'm saying? A sprinkle of nostalgia and just enough charm to distract you from the fact that you're basically playing the same game you've been playing since 1996. Long time. Let's start with Breath of the Wild, because this is where it all began. When Breath of the Wild came out in 2017, people lost their minds. Open world Zelda, physics-based puzzles, cooking. Everyone was calling it the reinvention of the franchise. And to be fair, it was, it was. But here's the problem. It became, standard. In so many words, it became standard, and that's boring now. Then we've got Mario Odyssey, a game that people still swear is the greatest Mario game ever made. And sure, it's fun, it's colorful. But at the end of the day, it's just a glorified collectathon. Moons everywhere. Hundreds of them. You can find Joseph Anderson's video. No, he's doing a better job than me. So, Donkey Kong Bonanza. That's a good one, isn't it? They redesigned Donkey Kong. They killed his coolness. He's so uncool, man. He used to be so awesome. He was like, I don't know, Master Chief of Nintendo. If you really, really think about it. He doesn't talk. He's just so cool. Man, he's so cool. And you killed him. You guys. It was all your fault. But the defenders will say, it's charming, it made me smile. You know what else makes me smile? Cat videos. I don't need to pay $70 for Donkey Kong's TikTok compilation. Oh, and I can't even forget Pokemon. Because if we're talking about Nintendo's formula, we have to acknowledge the elephant. Or should I say, a Dory fan? Dory fan? Right, guys? In the room. Pokemon, is it Dory fan? I'm sure it is. Pokemon games haven't evolved in decades. Scarlet and Violet were technical disasters. Glitches everywhere. Frame rates tanking. Characters clipping through walls. It looked like a fan project held together with duct tape. And yet it sold millions. Because Nintendo knows people love Pokemon. Pokemon Go is the best Pokemon game in the last, 20 years. Actually, when did Pokemon Black and White come out? Not sure. After 2005. Whatever. But, soon it will be, yeah. You see the pattern here? It's the same across every franchise. Cute presentation, bright colors, nostalgia, shallow mechanics that don't hold up under scrutiny, endless collectibles to pad the playtime, minimal challenge, maximum accessibility. I mean, yeah, you don't want Sony to make those games, right? And then the Nintendo tax, full price, always. This formula works because it makes you feel good in the moment. You smile, you laugh, you have fun. But when the credits roll, you realize there was nothing beneath the surface. No lasting depth. No reason to come back. Yeah, really. There's no reason to go back to Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild for more than 5 minutes. Am I wrong? After you beat it, you get the star and everything. Whatever. Now, let's compare this, again, to what the competitors are doing. Elden Ring! You know what? That's going to be on Switch too. So, and then I'll hate it when it comes to Switch too. Elden Ring. It's brutal, challenging, innovative. It's an open world that respects your intelligence, doesn't spoon-feed you, and constantly surprises you. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom look shallow by comparison. I mean, they are shallow by comparison. Definitely. Lore. God of War Ragnarok. Cinematic storytelling. What a nerd. That last sentence. Deep combat. Emotional weight. Compare that to Donkey Kong Bonanza's Banana Quest. It's Donkey Kong Bonanza is probably better than anything God of War's ever done, if I had to be honest. Spider-Man 2, polished, fun, packed with meaningful content. Every collectible has context. Every side mission matters. Compare that to Mario Odyssey, where you ground pound a random bench and get a moon for it. Is it ground pound? Huh. The jump and right trigger, whatever. Even live service game, flawed as they offer more depth and engagement. Fortnite is my favorite game, isn't it? And yet people defend it. But it's Nintendo. They make games for everyone. They're supposed to be fun and simple. Yes, fun and simple, but not lazy, not shallow. There's a difference between accessible and insulting. Nintendo isn't making timeless experiences anymore. They're making nostalgia bait, and we're swallowing it. Look, I'm in love with Mario. I'm in love with Link. I'm in love with Donkey Kong. But I'm tired of paying premium prices for glorified collectathons. I'm tired of Nintendo coasting on charm instead of innovation. I'm tired of pretending weapon durability is a genius mechanic. It kind of is. I really like it. I love those games. So here's the part where I have to be honest here. Breath of the Wild sucks. Tears of the Kingdom is DLC and it sucks. Mario Odyssey is a collectathon disguised as a platformer and it's garbage and it's bad and it's for babies. Donkey Kong Bonanza is for babies. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are bad, actually. And Crash Bandicoot is better than anything Nintendo has ever done. So it's as good as Suicide Squad, I guess. The Nintendo formula is safe. It's predictable. It's shallow. And it's been this way for hundreds of years. The Switch 2 hasn't changed that. It's even doubled down on it. They recycle, they repurpose, and they resell. And it's because of nostalgia, because of loyalty, because of our childhood memories. We just let them do it. But at some point, we have to stop. At some point, we have to demand more. Because if we don't, the future of Nintendo is nothing but more collectathons, more ports, and more lazy formulas. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to spend the next decade paying $70 to pick up shiny trinkets in slightly prettier worlds. Yeah, I really don't. So here we are. Democracy Manifest. We've covered the hardware. We've dried the library. We've mocked Drag and Drive. Yeah, why am I recapping everything? God, I respect you guys' intelligence. Not too much, though. Let's start with the PS5. For the same $700 Nintendo is charging for this crapshoot of a lunchbox, I could have bought a PS5 with Demon's Souls, Ratchet and Clank, God of War, Spider-Man 2, and an actual lineup of actual next-gen experience. The PS5 has ray tracing and an SSD, and it has cinematic storytelling, and it has cool games and online services that actually work, but are way more expensive. But they give you free games that you actually want, instead of the freaking, Lester the Unlikely on Switch Online. Come on now. Sony's out here bending space and time with Rift Apart, the brand new game. And then there's Xbox. I don't know. Do you guys like Xbox? That was your window to say yes or no. Comment down below. And then we have the Steam Deck, which is the best thing, probably. They're gonna make a Steam Deck 2, probably. Right? And it's gonna cost less and be better, but it won't have Mario. It won't have Mario! That's it. You're gonna buy it if it has Mario, and so will I. So if even mobile games are putting you to shame, Nintendo, you've lost the plot. And so have I. So let's zoom out. What does Nintendo really offer with the Switch 2? A console that costs more than its competitors, performs worse, offers worse and fewer games, has worse online, and it relies entirely on nostalgia to keep people buying in. This isn't disappointing, it's embarrassing. Nintendo, the company that once led the industry, is now lagging behind in every measurable way. Power, online, value, creativity, cool games. Cool games behind. They're all behind. It's not next gen. It's barely last gen. It's like Nintendo got lost in time, stuck in a 2013 mindset, and decided to charge us double for it. It's like the Wii's success skips a generation. You know what I mean? So it's the worst console of. It's the worst console of the modern era. It's worse than the Wii U. It's worse than the Xbox One's TV Fiat. What does that mean? So I really don't know anything about Xbox One. At least those consoles had identities, though. The Switch 2 has nothing. No games. It's a glorified port machine, an overpriced handheld, a nostalgia lunchbox. And the fact that it's outselling some of its competitors just proves one thing. We, the people, are the problem. We keep buying it. We keep defending it. We keep clapping like seals every time Nintendo tosses us the same boon. And until we stop, they'll never change. So yeah, I'm angry. I'm disappointed. I'm tired. Didn't you hear it? Tired of Joy-Con drift. Tired of ports. Tired of empty promises. Tired of paying premium prices for shallow recycled content. And yet here's the kicker. Here's the sticker. I'll still buy the next Zelda. I'll still boot up the next Mario. I'll still complain on YouTube while handing Nintendo my wallet, because nostalgia is a hell of a drug. What is that thing? Cocaine is a hell of a drug? Disregard that sniff. Nintendo, if you're watching this, and I hope you are, step it up. Stop coasting. Stop insulting me. Stop reselling us the game for the 15th time. The same game. Innovate again. Surprise us again. Because right now you're being outclassed, outdated, and you're out of time. And if you don't, you just ran out of time. And if you don't fix it, if you don't evolve, if you don't actually respect the fans who've kept you alive for decades, then the Switch 2 won't just be remembered as a disappointment. It'll be remembered as the moment Nintendo finally fell behind for good. Is Arkham Origins going to be on the Switch 2? It should. Should be. That's my hot take. Put it on the Switch 2. So that's it. That's the Switch 2. The $699 disaster piece. The console that scratched my screen, fried my shelf, melted my brain, and emptied my wallet. Disagree? Perfect. I hope you do. Yell at me in the comments. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me Dragon Drive is the best racer ever made. Tell me Mario Kart World is the best racer ever made. Every angry essay is engagement, and engagement keeps me alive. This has been Philly Dorilli. Please like, comment, subscribe, or don't. I'll be here either way, streaming into the void about why Donkey Kong deserves better bananas. Thank you, guys. So, yeah, hope you guys had fun. If you're still here.